Thank you guys for coming out on Saturday morning. My name is Theaster. I'm the Director of Arts and Public Life, and I help to manage this machine. It's so great to see you guys. Today we're going to have share some thoughts with you about our future ambition on the block, and there's a lot of great people here in the audience. We've gotten a lot of feedback from what people imagine could happen, and so we're going to share some of those thoughts. But we wanted to just have an opportunity for the university to share some of our vision and then share some of the community's vision. To begin, we're going to invite Larry Z, the Deputy Provost of the Arts for the university, to say a couple things. Thanks.
The role of the Deputy Provost for the Arts was really created as part of the university's initiative in the arts to really think seriously about how the arts can have an impact on the university. Well, one manifestation of that has been our Arts and Public Life project initiative that Theaster has been running. And part of that is to really explore how the arts can be a part of reinventing communities, rediscovering what a community means. Part of that. But another part of it, and Theaster and I have been working on this together, is also thinking about how the university, as a place of inquiry, as a place of exploring knowledge, how the university exists within its community and how art can actually be a means of having a kind of communication going back and forth between the university and the community that might not happen otherwise. Not the least because the community is an amazing resource for the kind of creativity that we see in the arts. And one of the places that we're seeing that, of course, is right here at the Arts Incubator. We're just having 3 artists in residence finish up their year here at the Arts Incubator. They've done absolutely amazing work. And the reason that I can say that with some confidence is because right across Washington Park here at the Logan Center for the Arts, both in the gallery at the Logan and also throughout the Logan, you can see the art that these artists have made. You can see it on exhibit in the Logan. And let me tell you, it is stuff that has an amazing impact. I went into the opening of the show thinking, oh, it might be about this, it might be about that, and it completely turned my mind around. And that, in fact, is what I think the Incubator offers as a possibility to turning people's minds around in a really amazing way. And so we're starting to see this happen. We've now got a new cafe that's right next door. That's something that is really starting to change the way people think about this little corner of Washington Park. And I'm hoping that that kind of resonance spreads more broadly. Again, we're not doing this in the university. We're not doing this alone. In addition to just the partners in the community, we've also had the amazing support of Alderman Pat McDowell. We've also had the support of Clio. We've had the support of a lot of different groups in making this happen. And that, to me, is perhaps one of the most important things. So I'd like to welcome you to today. Again, I know that there is going to be all sorts of excitement that's coming up about this. Another partner that we've got at the university is the Office of Civic Engagement, and I'd like to introduce Will Towns right now from OCE to talk a little bit about how the Office of Civic Engagement is involved with this project as well. Again, welcome.
Apparently, I'm the only one who got the text message about wearing a suit today for this party, so apologize for that. But yeah, thank you. It is a black party, so first of all, I just want to again welcome you to your incubator space. I think that's how really Theaster has set this place up. It is a place where the community can come in and interact around arts and cultures, learn about music, dance. They're doing yoga and those sorts of things in here, and it really is your space. So you should feel like you're at home when you come into the incubator. And so I'm in your house today, and I'll be sure to be short and sweet. I think, first of all, this whole effort is important from the Office of Civic Engagement standpoint, because we're here to try to look at how the university can work within our surrounding communities to help support and create stable quality living. Whether that be education, arts and culture, employment, those types of things that really create a stabilized community. We know communities have ups and downs, but with an anchor institution like the University of Chicago close by, we should be able to be a little more resilient in our ups and downs and as we go about our business and as our community evolves. I think as Larry pointed out, the cafe is a phenomenal place. And again, these are the types of things where a community can come in and interact, grab some food, have some meetings, meet some new people, and those sorts of things. And this is what this is really about vibrancy, about life, about how interaction between community, place, and people can come together in a positive manner. I think the other thing that we'll find as we go through this day and as you look at some of the designs and things that the community has come up with is that there is no benefit in being a best kept secret, right? And that we have to communicate to people, to our neighbors, to our partners, to our business associates, what's happening here in Washington Park. Washington Park is a jewel of the city, right? And it's time that we start to respect that and act like we know what's here, spread the word, get people to come down and really participate in what really is a phenomenal location. There aren't many places in a city where you have the amount of museums, the amount of arts and culture, their interactions between people, the music, the dance, and those things that we have here, right here in Washington Park. And this is a small effort on the university's part to really jumpstart something that the community, that the world, that Chicago can participate in. And so, as we said, we will be looking for partners, we'll be looking for small businesses, we'll be looking for other developers and things to really come in and look at what, Theaster, the Arts and Public Life, the Office of Civic Engagement has sparked to really create a roaring flame around arts and culture and what it means to be oneself in the community. And so I think that that's important to look at. I think as you go through the designs and see what's happening, keep in mind that this is what we've interpreted from the feedback from you. So these are really your designs, your thoughts, your input, your time on weekends coming in and working with us. And I think you'll see as we go through this, it's a very exciting opportunity to start to see these images start to come to fruition. We want to talk about things like scale, about options, choices, and things like that. So keep these things in mind as you look at the varying options that will be presented. The feedback is critical. Again, this is a design that's participatory. We want to make sure it stays that way and really be active in the work that we're doing. I think we also need to recognize that this is not the last time we're coming back, right? We're going to take this information again today, get your input, really finalize those concepts, and then represent it again in a more comprehensive way to ensure that we are capturing what this community is desiring and the things that we're looking for. Again, I want to thank you guys for your efforts. I want to thank you for your time that you've taken away from your daily lives over the past few weeks to come in today. We have some events that will be taking place, and I'm sure we'll like to see everyone really come out and enjoy. The other thing I'd just like to say is please tell someone else about the things that are going on here. We see a lot of familiar faces here. We like to see some new faces if we can, and this only works when there's an interaction between us and the community. And so tell somebody what's going on. Tell us if we're doing something you don't like. Tell us if we're doing something great. But it's this interaction and communication and being open that really creates a community, creates a culture, and will really project us out into the future. And with that, I'm going to bow out and welcome Theaster Gates to the mic.
All right. So a couple things have become really evident. We're about a year in to being here at the Incubator. One of the things that was really important to us, the staff of the Incubator, is making sure that everything that we do was as public as possible, that the cultural opportunities that we presented, that they were the highest things happening in the world, that we shouldn't shortchange Black people in this neighborhood or the people of this city because it happens to be in Washington Park, because we think Washington Park is as good as any other place in the world. And so we really tried to have a very high bar when it comes to the cultural programming that happens here. As a result, lots of people come here from all over the world because the bar is really high. And so that balance of managing, making sure that we're the best neighbors we can be and that the people who are immediately around us benefit from this place, while at the same time saying that this place is a place that should be celebrated widely and greatly. Making sure then that there's a mix of people that are here has been a goal, and I think that we've done a very good job at that goal. Also, currently, there are these things happening, like The exhibition space is active. The residency is happening. The design apprenticeship program went from 15 students to 35 students this summer. We're trying to figure out how we can maintain those numbers so that young people in this neighborhood can be employed, right? We're constantly thinking about how art and culture combined with advocacy leads to new cultural opportunities, not only on this block, but for the creation of new businesses that are creative businesses, our good listening that could turn into new opportunities for entrepreneurs who need other kinds of storefront spaces or spaces along the corridor. How the conversation of the Garfield Boulevard corridor isn't just one that we contemplate, but that's one that's contemplated nationally so that we can find resources nationally to think not only about this block, which is what we'll talk about today, but how we could think about the relationship between this block and our greater neighborhood. That kind of work is both arts and culture work, but it's also political work. It's also strategic work. It's the heavy duty lifting that on the surface looks like, man, this was a great exhibition. But really, if you dig down, you find that there are all these partners who are believing together that deep, significant financial, human, intellectual resource investing is the only thing that's going to cause the neighborhoods like Washington Park to transform into what they could really become, right? And so there's been a lot of feedback about what we could do. We've thought a lot about theater and cinema and dance. We've thought about what other kinds of creative businesses could be on the block and what kinds of creative businesses could be spurred as a result of the activity that's happening here. We're thinking a lot about the kinds of youth programming that might be useful, and then what to do with young people who are kind of in that gap of, I didn't quite finish high school, maybe I should finish high school, I'm not really interested in finishing high school, what else can I do? I finished high school, I'm not sure if I should do vocational work, like for all of the young brothers and sisters that get caught in the gap, what are our duties to them, right? And then there's we're demonstrating that Black businesses could be successful by creating this cafe. It's an experiment, but it's an experiment that also asks what other kinds of businesses can be in the neighborhood when we contemplate culture and the idea of food deserts and the idea of being right on the west side of a tremendous number of museums. How do we become kind of part of that vehicularly? How do we become part of that just in terms of how people perceive where they are on the south side, right? And so in addition to the work that we've already done in the Incubator, which feels good to me, we're also thinking about, how we can activate the public spaces outside. And we've gotten a lot of support from, other partners. And how do we grow new businesses? And then today, what we want to do is say, okay, those things are awesome to get the party started, to catalyze some investment and to help people imagine what could happen here. Now we need your input on what's next. And we've been getting that. We want to share with you what you've given us and then kind of tease out kind of what else is possible. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to our friends right at SCB, and please come up. This is Lesley.
Thank you, Theaster. So I'm going to take you through some of the outcomes, what we heard from the first two public meetings, as well as just some general information about the planning process that we've been working on with the university. So as Will mentioned, we're a couple months into a process that, and today we are having what we're calling the third public meeting, and that's to get your feedback on some of the ideas that we visualized throughout this whole process. There will be another opportunity for feedback in August as well. So here we are, the Arts Incubator, just to give you an idea of the site that we looked at. The planning framework that we were looking at, we tried to think about some opportunities for how to connect the boulevard. Between Prairie and King Drive, we looked at bike movements, pedestrian movements, how fast cars are moving down Garfield Boulevard. And the letters that you see going down the block just represent kind of gathering spaces, or where we heard you say this would be a really great place for a plaza, or this is where we cross Garfield Boulevard. So we thought about how that could be a gateway into Washington Park, the neighborhood and the actual park. So this diagram just talks about ways to improve how you experience the area. So it's looking at intersections across Garfield. It's looking at how to connect to the pavilion in a better way so that it's more public and it opens up this area to have more input and more pedestrian movement, more activity on the street, and make it a more lively, vibrant area to celebrate arts and culture in Washington Park. So this is the first image that we've created that we really want your feedback on. In the gallery downstairs, you'll see all of these images, and at the end of the display, we're asking you what you think. So please fill out the little survey at the end of it. Each one of the boards downstairs also has a question about, do you really think this is a gateway? Is the Green Line important to you? Is this a good way to celebrate arts and culture? And in this rendering, what you see also is that it integrates local art and artists into the boulevard and into the streetscape, into the sidewalk, and into the way that pedestrians move throughout the area. Next slide. So the top section is a little bit hard to see, but this is looking at a section of the whole Garfield Boulevard right away. So the things to pull out of here is that the integration of art into the boulevard, into the streetscape, and into your experience as you walk through the neighborhood is really important. And so what you're seeing in both of these is that it can be a more vibrant neighborhood. We heard that the perception of safety is important. You need more lights to feel comfortable walking around. You want to be able to sit out on the street. You want a safe place to ride your bike. And you want local artists and artisans from the community to have a platform and a stage to actually show their wares, to do performance, and to really make this the arts and cultural district that it can be. So this is a series of inspirational images, and what you're seeing here is these are dance steps. These are just ways this could potentially be a bench by a local artist. Underneath the train track here, this is an idea for lighting, same with this one. So it's an idea that the infrastructure that you see, the train that you use every day, trying to cross the street could actually be a nice experience, a place to meet your friends. It could actually express, the people and the vibrancy of the area instead of, what you're seeing now, which from what we've heard, can be improved. Another idea that came out of this is that because there is a lot of vacant property along Garfield Boulevard, that one of the ideas was to have temporary uses. So what you're seeing in this image here are shipping containers that could be used as art galleries temporarily until permanent development actually comes. So looking at ways to connect shipping containers, this could be a rotating gallery. They're very easy to move in and out, and it's actually really sustainable to reuse all these shipping containers that are relatively cost effective to renovate as well. And again, these are some inspirational images about how shipping containers could actually be used as galleries, as outdoor space, as gathering spaces, because the area between each one of these temporary uses could also be a place for performance and integration of art. So the second idea, and what you're looking at here is just east. It's the corner of Garfield Boulevard and Martin Luther King. So this is an idea that if there were a permanent development, what do you think about density? How high should a building be? What size is too tall? You have Schultz down here, which is, pretty tall. We heard that's kind of people's tolerance. But what's your tolerance? And is this level of development too much? So that's the kind of feedback that we're looking for when you think about how you want your neighborhood to be in, 3 years, in 5 years, in 10 years. So this is looking at the whole block between Prairie and King Drive. Again, this is a little hard to read up here on the screen, but there's a board downstairs that you can actually see it large enough so you can understand what's happening. But from what you can see here, the yellow areas are where there's an opportunity for redevelopment or infill development. So a building could possibly be built. And then you can see the existing buildings, which we've really tried to emphasize. We heard from you, you want to keep them. So those buildings have good bones, just like this one does. There's a lot of historicism, there's an importance to the community, and frankly, they're gorgeous buildings. So we wanted to keep those buildings and renovate them for a different kind of use. And what that use is for you to envision. It could be dance, it could be art, it could be performance, it could be a cooking class, bring your business there. So we want to hear from you how you fit into this program as well. And again, these are the questions that we're asking downstairs. Please log on to the website. This will give you project updates. You can RSVP to events coming up. As I mentioned, there's a public meeting in August. The documents from the previous public meetings are there, so you can follow the project. And subscribing will give you updates as well. Downstairs in the gallery, we have all of these boards posted with questions on them to get you thinking more about how to envision the Garfield Boulevard between King and Prairie. Thank you.
So thank you, Lesley. My name is Joanna Trotter. I'm Director of Neighborhood Development for the Office of Civic Engagement. I just wanted to again thank you all for coming. We look forward to hearing your feedback. Suzuki is already performing outside, so please feel free to kind of mull in and come back out and take a look at the boards, provide your feedback, but go outside and enjoy the great food and music and performances. We thank you all. And we really wanted today to sort of to show the great example of what arts and culture can be here in Washington Park. So please enjoy. Leave, come back, bring some friends, bring some neighbors. We want to see them all out tonight. So thank you.